Connor brought this up when we had him on the pregame show, which if you guys missed, it's in the Badlands podcast feed. We're going to be doing one for every single Jets game this year. We talked about how there are certain positions that the Jets, quote unquote, punted on for this season, where they looked at their roster, they looked at their baseline, and they were like, yeah, we're not going to really throw a lot of resources at this. So I think tight end is a perfect example of this. The Jets tight end room was bad going into the offseason, and the best they could probably do was going to be like middling. And Muji and Glenn were like, we're not really going to, shake trees and use these resources just to go from bad to middling. Whereas with corner, they had Sauce, they had Michael Carter, and they still went out and they paid Brandon Stevens, and they still drafted Azrae Thomas when he felled them in the third round. Like, that room was good, and they had zero hesitation trying to make it really good. What are your thoughts on that as a team building strategy?
I think we'll see, right? I am very much benefit of the doubt to a new staff, especially one that there's some history with. But if I try to step back from that a little bit and really assess it, if we're talking about the defensive tackle position, right? I think it not only depends on how the defensive tackles that they do have on the roster play, but it also depends on how well the secondary plays, because that's where you invested instead. And on the offensive side of the ball, if you're just going to funnel everything to Mason Taylor, all right, you figured out a way to patch that hole for a year and maybe you invest in it more down the road.
I think I like it even more than you do, where I just don't want to build a team that's okay to good at everything. I just think it's too hard with the salary cap, with player development. You're just going to have weaknesses. There's no perfect team. I'd rather have two superpowers, one on each side of the ball, and through good coaching and variance, whether it's turnover luck, whether it's red zone efficiency, things that you can control in the margins, which you hope will help you out. I would love if the Jets secondary was just nails, and I would love if the Jets offensive line was just nails. Yeah, their pass catchers aren't fantastic. Their defensive line is kind of thin. If you can be really good at two things, that's much better than being average at four. You can't flip a position room around in one offseason. You can gradually do it. Year two, Mason Taylor with another free agent tight end, and if Stone Smart, from what we saw, can be your flex option, that's a nice tight end room next year. That's a 2-year progression that you work towards, and you got it there. I don't think you have to move mountains when you don't have a guarantee that this is going to completely fix the room.